discuss. So now we will discuss about first of all hard disk partition style. Hard disk partition style. So partition styles depends upon MBR and GPT style it is. MBR and GPT style it is. First of all, how to go to disk management. So you can go to run. One is you can go to run. There you can type Diskmgmt.msc. Okay, to go to disk management, you can type Diskmgmt.msc. Click OK. So here it is. It is open disk management window. Okay. If you don't know how to go to this part, or like you don't know how to go open the run, there's a 2-3 ways are there. So one of the thing is type disk management or a disk mgmt only. Better it is mgmt without a space. Try mgmt.msc. Already it will show. It is showing some create and format hard disk control panel. It is showing. We'll try to open that one. Yes, it is. Okay. Try that one. So diskmgmt.msc. I have a 2 hard disk, disk 0 and disk 1. In a disk 0, right click, can you see convert into MBR? Disk convert into GPT. It means this is GPT disk, this is MBR disk. This is GPT disk, this is MBR disk. Okay. So convert into MBR means it is a GPT disk. Convert into GPT, it means it is MBR disk. What is this MBR or GPT disk? I will show you that one. So yeah, I will tell you that one. So here it is. MBR means master boot record. Abbreviation is master boot record. GPT means GUID partition table. Whenever you insert a disk, new fresh hard disk does not contain any partitions or any file system, nothing is there. It's a fresh hard disk. When you insert a new fresh hard disk, it will ask, do you want to initialize the disk as a MBR or GPT? I'll show you that screen if possible. Yeah, like this. See it is. I inserted a new hard disk. It is asking it is a 110 GB hard disk I inserted. It is a unallocated fresh hard disk. See, no partitions, nothing is there. Not initialized. When I click on right click and say initialize, and initialize the disk as a MBR or GPT. Guys, you can able to see this one, this part, MBR or GPT. This part. Are you able to see this part?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Visible, right? So when you insert a new hard disk, so first of all, you have to initialize as a partition style MBR or GPT. That is the first point. Next, sometimes you have a fresh system. You have a first fresh computer is there. You have a fresh hard disk is there inside. You insert, you have a fresh hard disk, fresh system, no OS, nothing is there. Okay. Now, this disk cannot ask you initialize as a MBR or GPT. It cannot ask you. What will happen here? In our motherboard, if you have a BIOS chip, You have only BIOS shape and you are trying to install some operating system. You're trying to install an operating system. At the time of installing operating system, you have to do tell this is my hard disk, these are the partitions, right? So you have to do partitioning while you are installing operating system. Your BIOS is BIOS. Then it is a MBR disk. The disk become MBR automatically. You have a BIOS chip, and while you are installing operating system, we partition the hard disk generally, or watch any voice installation videos. Okay, that time we can understand. We partition the hard disk. Automatically, it is a MBR type. Next, same scenario. You have a PC, fresh PC, no operating system inside. Now we are trying to install a operating system. Hard disk is also very fresh, nothing is there inside. Okay, now we are trying to install a operating system, and yours is BIOS come UEFI, because still a lot of people using UEFI BIOS kind of stuff. BIOS and UEFI or UEFI. Okay, so here it is, there is a volume. It's purely BIOS. It is BIOS come UEFI. So which one is you open, like you are enable UEFI or you enable BIOS or both? Okay, first of all, when you are installing an operating system and UEFI supported operating systems are there. UEFI supported operating system like a Windows 8, Linux, like a enterprise Linux type, means Red Hat Enterprise Linux, CentOS 7 versions onwards, means Windows 8, Windows 8.1, Windows 10, Windows 11, Windows Server 2012, 2016, 2019, like that, and Linux 7, 8, like that. These are the UEFI supported operating system. Then this disk will be initialized as a GPT by default. Otherwise, like try to install Windows 7. You try to install a Windows 7 instead of Windows 10. You are try to install Windows 7. The disk is MBR. Or you want to try to install a 2008 server or maybe a Red Hat 6. So which is not does not support UEFI. Then it is operating system does not support UEFI. It support BIOS. Then it is a MBR type. Operating system which support UEFI, then it automatically initialize the disk as a GPT. This is automatic initialization while installing operating system. Only simple kind of stuff, guys. It is depends upon your hardware. It's a BIOS or UEFI and your operating system. Based on that, your disk is initialized as a MBR or a GPT. Next point is, this is the second point I said. The first point I said here it is, when you insert a disk, the disk is initialized as MBR or GPT. In case, as the first scenario here, point here in the first scenario, disk is you initialize as a MBR. What will happen? You can create 3 primary partitions. Totally 4 primary you can create it generally, and as per a world technology it is, you can create a 4 primary partitions. The single hard disk, you can create a 4 primary partitions. Once 4 are completed, Okay, so for example, you take a 500 GB hard disk. This is 100 GB. This is 50 GB. This is 50 GB. For example, this is another 100 GB. Take it is totally 300 GB completed. The remaining 200 GB become unallocated. You cannot do anything with it. You cannot do anything with it. Once 4 primary are completed, you cannot create any other partition. So one option is there. That is, you have to do. You can make it as a 4th as a bigger, or you have to recalculate and manage the entire disk as with the 4th in a 4, like a 500 GB, 200, 100, like that. You can try it, no problem. But it is a very limited partition. Sometimes you may require more than 4, then problem will occur. Okay. So what I'm doing is I create a 3 primary. So maximum 4 primary partitions you can create it, or 3 primary, the third one become extended partition. Third one become an extended partition. Okay. Third one become an extended partition. In extended, we can create some logical partitions. Okay. So we can create some logical partitions inside. Okay. We can create a multiple logical partitions in a extended partition. Means 3 primary partitions, 1 extended. In extended, you can create a logical drives, not logical partition. Partition means logical. Okay, logical drives we are creating. So in MBR, either you create a 4 maximum partitions, or we can create 3 primary and 1 extended. In extended, you can create a number of logical partitions. You can create it. Okay, number of logical partitions you create. Okay, next, each partition size, the maximum of each partition size is 2 terabyte only. Maximum up to 2 terabyte of each partition we can create it. So that is MBR style. Guys, understand MBR? 4 primary or a 3 primary, 1 extended. In 1 extended, we can create a logical partitions. So you want to see, I will show you. This is my MBR disk. How do I know? Right click, see, convert into GPT. It means it is a MBR disk. Okay. If you want to confirmly want to know, so I will go to, no, not like this. Click here, type CMD, run as an administrator, because if you want to do any administrative commands, then you have to open the command prompt as a run as administrator. So then DISKPART is a command to manage your disk. So it is a DISKPART command. Now list disk. I want to know about my hard disk. See, it is disk 0. You can see the disk 0 is GPT star, means it is a GPT disk. Disk 1, GPT star is not there. It means it is a MBR disk. You can manage from here also, but I'm not doing anything. One more way to know about from PowerShell. This is the PowerShell. It is a powerful command line tool from the Microsoft. Normal commands work based on a Win32 execution environment, but PowerShell use .NET framework to execute the commands. Okay, so more encrypted, more secure than a normal command prompt also. So learning of PowerShell is also a very good thing, guys. Lot of commands are there. It used for commands, used for scripting writing, used for programming also. Programming also there. So I'm putting only one command, get disk. Command is get disk. Not required a cap letter, small letter kind of stuff, no case sensitive. Windows is not a case sensitive. See, it is that disk 0 is the second one. So disk 1, disk 0. So here it is, you can understand. No. This is MBR and GPT. Disk 0 is a GPT, 500 GB one is GPT, 1 terabyte is MBR style. Okay, so this is the MBR disk. 3 primary partitions are created. Now I'm going to string this volume, H volume. So H contains this totally 500 GB hard disk, but it contains only 32 GB free space. 32 GB free space is there. So what I will do, I will delete some virtual machine, guys, to get a more free space. I have only 32 GB free space. I try to delete some virtual machine, so then I will gain little bit more space. See, here it is. It is a batch 15 server and batch 15 client machine. It's a batch 16 machine is also there. So this is the server machine. Okay. So here it is. CTS 15. Where is CTS 16? It is. Yeah, CTS 15. These two, not Linux. Linux also I will delete later, but it is both are around 52 GB. Both folders. See, it is this virtual machine data. This is virtual machine data. So this is a Windows server. This is a Windows client. Means it is a Windows 10. This is a Windows server 2019. So Linux machine. It's also having a some 9,900 9 GB. 9 GB. So if I delete all these three, okay, so 61.4 GB will be free. Okay, so in this one, so I can delete directly this folder, or neatly I will delete from here also. So first of all, S1 history I want to delete. So manage, delete from the disk, delete it, and then I am going to delete this C1 PC. Manage, delete from the disk. Very good. Now Linux one also I'm going to delete. I don't know what I created inside also, I forget. No problem. We'll create again in a Linux. Now 3 machines I deleted. This is Oracle Windows machines. Better to delete Windows because with all I Windows I use except 1 or 2 remaining are like this is no problem. This is no problem machine. This is enterprise machine, evaluation machines. Now where is my drives? It is. See what the folders are gone. Now this is empty folder. What I will do with empty folder? I will delete the empty folder. So by mistake this empty folder is created. Better not to have an empty folder, guys. Even empty folder also have some process in background. Even one small cities. So batch 17. Totally 52 GB. Batch 16 is also there. This is also no, okay, I have deleted everything. Okay, so whatsoever it is, we got a 94.3 GB of free space. Now everything is blue colors. Good, right? Still it is showing, I don't know, but just I will going to refresh. I am searching for a refresh option. Or you can open again. 2 ways to open it. I said no. One is by typing disk management or a Diskmgmt.msc. This PC, right click manage. You can right click on this PC. So go to this PC. right click, manage. It opens computer management. It opens computer management. In the computer management, it's a very good part, guys. If you go to one by one, you learn a lot of things like event viewer, task scheduler, shared folder, device management, disk management, including service management also you will see. This is the disk management. So this is the G drive, E drive, H drive. Unlike our drive thing, so it is a small screen. It is an action window. We don't require action window. View top, bottom. Yeah, we don't have a choice then. Okay, like this also you can do it. So yeah, I don't like that one. I want to my own disk management window. Now it is full-fledged, right? So here it is. I have a certain free space 94.3 GB. What I will do it from H drive. I'm going to take some free space. Guys, understand? This is the H drive. I have a 94.3 GB free space out of 531 GB. Now what I want to do is I want to create, I want to take some free space out of this total disk drive. Total disk drive, I want to take some free space out, like shrinking. So H drive, right click, shrink volume. How much I want to take? I'll try 80 GB. 80 GB. 80 GB means, oh, okay, 80 GB. I have to calculate 80 GB, guys. Each GB in MB. Go to calculator. 1 GB in 1 MB is 1024. Sorry, why it is 1024. 1024 MB is equal to 1 GB. 1 GB. 1024 MB is 1 GB. Now I want 8 GB into 8. So 8192 is 8 GB. 8192 MB is 8 GB. Now I want 80 GB, right, into 10. Then it is 81920. Okay, I choose. See this one. How much amount you can enter? This is the maximum. It is showing this is the maximum. I'm entering lesser than that one. So that is also keep it in mind. I'm entering less than what it is showing. 81920. Okay. MB is equal to 80 GB. You can put less also. 60 GB, 50 GB, 40 GB. Also it is better. Just to show you this shrink volume. So what will happen? What I have done, I have a hard disk. This is 200 GB first partition, then 200 GB another partition. The remaining I make it as a 531 GB, 531 GB as a one single drive. Okay, primary, another primary. Now what I am trying to do is, in this 531, I have a something around a 90 GB, more than 90 GB free space is there. I'm cutting it, means I'm chopping this part. Like 80 GB, I want to create your free space, means out of your free space, out of available free space, some free space I want to cut from your main partition. Okay, so from here you are cutting 80, 531 minus 80. It is around 451 GB. So this is 451 GB and this is 80 GB. So totally 531 GB. How I got 80 GB? I got 80 GB from free space. It is still rotating. Maybe because it's a 80 GB. Okay. You guys understand what we done? Shrinking volume means cut the volume, take the volume from free space. This is a disk management. Also, I'm telling disk management. Or to calculate how much GB you want it based on calculation is 1024 is 1024 MB is 1 GB. Okay, you want 4 GB into 4096 into 10 means it is a 40 GB. Same way, how much you want it, you have to calculate like that only. But it is still showing some but. Why it is taking long time? So it is a 94.3 free space. Out of that one, 80 GB I'm taking. It means it is 14.3 GB free space in this one because I have taken 80 separately. Better to create smaller and don't try it in your PC, guys. Generally, I will do all these practicals in virtual machines. So now if I open virtual machine, I thought it will take time, but it is literally taking a lot of time. Yeah, never close like that because a process I've told to do it like, but it is not happening. So try it is. This is basically hardware related process, guys. Not a software related, like not like you're dealing with an application. You're dealing with the kernel level. So never close this kind of windows while it is process is going on. Either keep it aside or leave it aside part. And it is taking time. So do not do that. That's why I told don't try it on your physical machine. So meanwhile, what I will try to complete this is a GPT. What is GPT? GUID partition table. And here you can create multiple primary partitions. No extended, no logical drives kind of stuff. How many? You can write 128 primary partition. Each partition size support up to 2 terabytes and more than 2 terabyte also it will support. Means it is around 18 EB. Okay, around it is 18 EB. So that is a GPT, GUID partition table. Just I want to show the shrink volume, extend volume, logical one. It is giving very big basket now volume. So it is when you insert a fresh or a new hard disk to your machine, then it is ask you to initialize. It is MBR or GPT. Internal hard disk, guys. External hard disk already it is it is told it is a GPT type or MBR type. Already partitions, everything is created. Normal internal hard disk, I'm telling you, fresh hard disk. And also it will be while you are installing an operating system, your operating system and your BIOS type, means BIOS or UEFI, and your operating system will decide while you are installing operating system, hard disk is initialized as MBR or GPT. Okay, UEFI based motherboards, UEFI supported operating system means hard disk is initialized as a GPT. BIOS based motherboards or 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 UEFI not supported operating systems initialize the disk as a MBR. If your disk is MBR type of disk, you can create a 4 partition, that is a old style operating system, because that time it will ask, do you want to create a primary or extended volume? You create a 3 primaries, then the recent means like Windows Vista 7, Windows 8 and Windows 10, and the Linux recent like Linux 6, Linux 7. Once you are completed 3 primary partitions, you create a partitions. First 3 partitions by default it is a primary partition. Fourth is automatically it is a extended partition. In extended we can create a multiple logical drives. Each partition size is 2 terabyte. What is MBR? Master board record. So here it is GUID partition table. 128 primary partitions we can create it. No extended is required, no logicals are there. Straight away we can create a 128. More than 2 terabyte support is also available, means you can create less than 2 terabyte or more than 2 terabyte of single partition, and the maximum each partition size is support up to 18 GB. Okay, yeah, this is the creation of virtual hard disk. Better I will do I turn that one. So that is, this is the MBR and GPT, guys. Yeah, any result of this one? Nothing. If background process completed, then we can get something from it. Okay, sorry I failed. Okay, so this is MBR style and GPT style. Next, yeah, that is the main part, is how to create a partition part. Okay, but we are unable to see that one. This is the virtual machine, guys. Anything you want to try for first time, and if it is dangerous for your machine, okay, if you feel like that, better to try on a some virtual machine. Here it is. The virtual machine contains a Windows 10 Pro edition. Okay, so then we can see certain things from it. Mostly I will switch on this virtual machine while I am telling a Windows 10 small administrations. Okay. And important is why we created these partitions, why we need the partition to store the data and different type of data into separate places. So like a C drive is usually dedicated for a operating system. Last time one person asked me a question, sir, why C drive? Why C drive? There is a no rule kind of stuff, guys, and because of these drive letters are more logical. Logical means depends upon situation, the drive letters will be changes. So we can see that one when you are doing some administration on the Linux or Windows systems. So in internally while there are booting kind of stuff, installation kind of stuff. Yeah, I thought this error will come. Because the disk is become busy now, so can't get that one also. The hard disk is the virtual machine is inside this one. Okay, so where are we? Why C drive? Because of initial days they use a floppy disk, and first floppy disk drive letter is A drive, and each computer use at least 1 to 2 floppy disk. One floppy disk guarantee. Some systems for one floppy disk for a loading on operating system. Second one is for a storing data kind of stuff. Or one floppy disk contains an operating system, other contains some kind of application. Like that. So they use 2 floppy disks. Right. So A and B are reserved for a floppy disk, and that tradition is continuous in Windows. Then the C is given for a hard disk. Okay, and that first partition automatically is for a operating system, then OS is given for a C drive. Earlier days, floppy disk is we load operating system with a floppy disk. Now we are loading operating system and storing operating system, loading operating system in the your C drive only by default. And it is a logical, again, may changes the partition names while installing on operating system kind of stuff. So do not trust this one. Okay, this is the first partition, second partition, partition number 0, partition number 1, partition number 2, partition number 3, like that only there. For our understanding, C drive, D drive. Next drives, you can store different data. Why? Why? Because of, in case if operating system corrupted, your data is safe in the different drives. Okay, and sometimes you store certain data. It is may, if you keep storing data into a C drive, your C drive may fill with unnecessary data and your system become slower, also possible. Okay, so that is the point here. So we create a partitions to store the data into different drives. Okay, so and we create a C drive is basically your Windows operating system. So other any files we store into different drives. Okay, guys, this is a 2 hour from very old PPTs. That's it is still does not update it with the new kind of stuff. Okay, you want to store a data in the partition, compulsory you have to define the file system. You guys are already know what is the format means. Format. What is the meaning of format? You have to define the file system. It is a NTFS or a FAT file system. Okay, so do not do it is okay. So don't try that one. File system. Defining a file system is called a format. Without defining a file system in the drive, you cannot store the data. In general, in Windows, we use NTFS file system or FAT file system. Mostly we are using NTFS file system. FAT file system have a multiple variations, FAT32, FAT12, FAT16 kind of stuff. In FAT32, so we cannot store big size files, and maximum supporting format is 32 GB only. Maximum partition size is 32 GB. In FAT32, maximum partition size is 32 GB. In FAT16, it is only 4 GB. Okay, NTFS, the partition is up to 2 terabyte. Partition size is 2 terabyte. You can store big files more than 2 terabyte. Actually, up to 2 terabyte or more than 2 terabyte it support up to 18 EB. But NTFS, when you check the in any place in a Google, it may give you different type of size supports. Why? Because of NTFS having a different versions. When operating system, Windows operating system, but new version releases, also there is a new NTFS version is also there. Okay, I'll show you some of the future differences. See, this is the disk with the NTFS file system. This is the another disk drive with the FAT file system. This is FAT32. This is NTFS. You can see there is a security here, quota, compress, index. You are missing that things here. Where is the compress? Where is index? Where is security? Where is quota? Okay, of course there is a encryption is also there. So these features we will miss this kind of stuff. Okay, so FAT support the up to 32 GB means FAT32 file system support up to 32 GB. NTFS support 2 terabyte and more than 2 terabyte, and it provided features like security, encryption, compression, quota, and indexing. Okay, next one is EXFACT. What is EXFACT? Normally, so whenever we have a mobile phone, that time SD cards means starting of mobile phone time. We have a memory cards that is 500 MB, 500 MB, not 500 GB, 500 MB, 200 MB, 32 MB. Okay, that time I am talking 1 GB, 2 GB memory cards, 1 GB pen drive, 2 GB pen drive, 4 GB pen drive. By default, there are formatted with the FAT only. So why it is? FAT is a one kind of universal file system because it support both Linux based operating system, different operating systems support FAT based file system. So obviously your mobile phone also support FAT based file system. So you have a 2 GB memory card, 1 GB memory card, FAT file system. You can insert it and you can use it. But nowadays, what is the SD card size? 16 GB, 32 GB, 64 GB. I have 64 GB also. 128 GB. I have 128 also. 256 GB, 512, 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte of SD card is also there. In memory cards, 2 terabyte of SD card is also there. Okay, so 1 terabyte of SD card, it is also 1 terabyte, but 2 terabyte of SD card is also there. See, 2 terabyte of SD card. 1 terabyte cost is 17,000 kind, 12,000 it is coming. SanDisk. Okay, now for example, FAT support up to 32, but I have a 64 GB SD cards. FAT does not support. Then what is the file system support? It is EXFACT. EXFACT support your SD card. Like you purchase any SD card which is more than 32 GB, insert the SD card into your mobile and it will ask for a format and just click OK, then automatically it initialize the file system is EXFACT file system. It is a EXFACT file system. Next one is resilient file system. Resilient file system. What is resilient file system? You store a data into the drive and people will access the data, will copy the data, will move the data, access data, modification of data is possible, right? We have a data in your computer, you read the data and you write something data, you modify data, you move the data. So what happened? Data may corrupted. So multiple attempt on the same data data can be corrupted. So what is this resilient file system? You store a data in the drive, which is the file system is resilient file system. So there is a CRC, cyclic redundancy check, is algorithm. So take certain data from your original data. So it will what it will, it will always compare with it. It will always calculate the data. So it is prevent the data from data corruption, or it will try to repair the data from if it is any corruption is occurred. Okay, mostly we use this CRC technique in both networking and as well as a compression, file compression things. Like you go to WinRAR files, there you will find that kind of data. So I'm not going now. In a Linux operating system, Unix operating system, you use ext, ext2, ext3, ext4, xfs type of file system. In a network file sharing, I said network, but network file sharing, a network sharing, better word is network sharing. We use NFS, CAFS kind of file system. NFS, network file system, CAFS, common internet file system. Okay. Some hardware devices also having their own file system, like example DVD, universal disk format. Okay, guys. So what is the file system? File system help you to store the data in the device, help you to store the data in the device, and it will tell how to store the data, how to arrange the data. Exactly say how to arrange the data. So FAT means file allocation table. It means it allocate the data into the proper order, in order, in a order. NTFS also same thing, no difference. New technology file system, same thing. It arrange the data, it store the data in a one particular order. Okay, based on that order and that another features, we are getting these kind of differences. Okay, FAT does not support a big file storage, but NTFS support big file storage. EXFAT support big file storages, and larger the partition size is 32 GB also it is support. Okay. This is about your file system. So I think that's the point. Okay, so disk management I am unable to show you guys because that's 30 GB that freezing, and when I open it is not opening. Actually it will take a minute, but it's taking very long time.
Sir, which other things we can do in disk management other than shrinking volume?
Normal disk management means first if you have an unallocated partition, you can create a partition. You can create a partition, so you can create a new partition or a new simple volume. You can create it. So otherwise, I will write here somewhere disk management part, formatting, disk management, MBR. I will add this here. So later I'll add some slides for next time. Disk management. The first important of disk management is how to open disk management. So in a command prompt wise, you can also do it by DISKPART. That is a command wise. So first of all, you have to open your CMD as a run as administrator. Next, you have to type DISKPART. Then you have to manage. That's we are not doing now. So I'm doing go to run, type Diskmgmt.msc. Diskmgmt.msc. In this one, you can create a new partition. First of all, you can initialize. Making that noise. You can initialize the disk. So one option, one thing. You can make it offline, online kind of stuff. That is initializing the disk. Okay. You can make a disk as offline, online. Okay, online, offline. We can convert into we can convert into basic dynamic, convert into MBR to GPT. Here it is a partitioning part. So I'm going to partitioning part. So here it is. You can create a new simple volume. Now name is changed. Earlier it is a simple partition only. New simple volume. People are asking. Simple volume. We can create it. We can shrink volume. Means we can take a free space and create a unallocated space. You can take a free space and you can create an unallocated space from it. Okay, you can shrink the volume. Okay, so we can shrink the volume. We can extend volume. What is extending volume? Means you have an unallocated space beside your any partition. We can add it to main space. We can add it to the partition. That is extending volume, simple volume, shrinking volume, extending volume. Of course, so many other things also there. Managing volumes also there. Managing volumes like a ride volumes. Do it. You can manage volumes like a ride volumes. First one is of course new simple volume, and volume, stripped volume, error. These are the things you can able to do it. So in a ride, this is the ride level 0, ride level 1. You don't get it, no problem. Okay, but try to just remember the words. When it is comes again, it will become a repetition. Okay, so next ride 5 volume, ride 5 volume. Okay, that is optional. So sometimes it is there, sometimes not shows. At least we need a 3 hard disk. That is an optional part. Okay, so main important is how to create a simple volume, how to shrink the volume. Means main days we can shrink it like this. Like you have a free space, there is a 90 GB free space. We try to get a 80 GB out of that 90 GB separately. For example, I have a 20 GB next to the drive. So you have some space, free space is there, unallocated space is there. I want to add it to the drive. So that is an extended volume. We can delete the volume. We can delete the created volume. We can delete the volume. Okay, this is also there. And some options are there, but this is the main point. In a disk management, these are the main points here. Okay, these are some additional points, starting, ending. This is a completely volume management. So that is. We have 80 GB guys, finally. 80 GB. See, as my calculation 451 out of 531, 451 GB is my drive size and 80 GB unallocated. Now refresh this one. See, it is my H drive is 12.3 GB free out of 451. See, the size is changed. Okay, size is changed. So it's my as per me. Okay, I miscalculated something, but it is 12 point something it is showing. 80 GB unallocated. Now I'm going to create a simple volume. It is showing only simple spanned and stripped volumes. Simple spanned and stripped volume. You want to go to spanned and stripped, compulsory required a additional hard disk like this. Okay, you need a separate hard disk is required. You don't have, this is already C drive and that drive, and do not do it, guys. Do not do it. It is very dangerous for your system. You don't know how to resolve it. I don't know how to resolve it. I cannot do help in certain cases. Okay, do not convert to dynamic disk. It is very dangerous. You can convert basic disk to dynamic disk, but you cannot rotate. You have to delete all the volumes. You will face problems. Okay, that's why don't do it. Guys, have you seen 80 GB unallocated?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, we got this one because of shrinking. If I want to add this 80 GB to this H drive, so go to H drive, you can go to extend the volume. Okay, you can go to extend the volume. If I'm going to E drive, I'm trying to extend the volume. It is showing option, but we cannot add as I know, but you can shrink the volume, extend volume. Actually should be gray color, but for my face it is showing its option is showing. It is showing we can add 8 GB to it, but original as you know it won't add it. It will be added to the next one only. So extend volume means I can add a volume from this unallocated to this H drive, either entirely or some part of unallocated to H drive. I can add it to the drive. So that is called extend. I'm extending my volume. So I'm added 20 GB from this 80 GB. Next. So not entire 80 GB I don't add. I want to add a 20 GB only. 2048 means it's a 2 GB and 0 means it's a 20 GB. I'm adding a 20 GB to it. It is see 471 GB. The H drive size is 471. This 80 GB become 60 GB. That is called a extended volume. So what I've done, I've taken a 20 GB from here, added to this one. So then it is become 471 GB. Now earlier it is showing some 12 GB free space. Now 12.3 GB free space. See, it become 32.3 GB free space. 20 GB is added. Okay. Guys, understand shrinking and extending?
Yes, sir. We can add in E, sir.
It is showing an option we can add, but as earlier it is not showing that one. Maybe it is become a new feature now. We cannot add generally, but maybe it is showing now. I'll try to add it, but I cannot remove it. No. Don't rate on your physical machines until you are confirmed with virtual machines. Okay.
Okay.
That is my physical hard disk. This is the original hard disk. This is a additional hard disk that too. I have very important data inside. Both are having important. Okay, now we have seen shrink volume, extend volume. Don't try delete volume last. Okay, 60 GB means 3 primary partition. Now I want to create a one more partition, 20 GB hard disk. New simple volume, 20 GB, 20480, 20 GB volume I want to create it. Next. So it is assigning a letter, I letter. Next. Which file system you want to get it? You want it FAT or NTFS? FAT or NTFS. Guys, if in case I'm taking this entire 60 GB. So you want see you will get a EX FAT, but not FAT32. But if I'm taking only 20 GB, 20480, because FAT support up to 32 GB, but it is only 20 GB. That's why it is showing NTFS and FAT32. I'm choose only FAT. If you want to put a label on it, you can put it also someday. Okay. So decide which file system you want it. By default, it is already NTFS. Perform quick format. If I select FAT32, can you see this option is disabled? It is compression is not there in FAT. That's why it is disabled. If I select NTFS, it is showing normally. You no need to select it, just to see it. Okay. You can put here any name for a label, no problem if you don't put it also. Finish it. But immediately, instead of showing like this blue color, it is showing in a different way. What is this green color, thick green color border meaning is, it is a extended partition. It is a extended partition. Very good. This part entirely an extended partition. So here it is, one partition is created 20 GB. Still we have a 40 GB free space. In this one also you can create a multiple logical drives. You can see this is a logical drive. Why I'm getting like this? Because it is a MBR type of disk. So 3 primary completed. The fourth one automatically become extended volume. In extended, logical drives will be created. So in this 40 GB, I'm going to another simple volume. Just a 10 GB volume I want to create it. It is. So this 40 GB free space becomes 30 GB free space because I created a 10 GB. 20 GB, 10 GB, logical drive. Like this, I can create a number of partitions. So 3 primary and multiple logical drives we can able to create it. How many are created? It is logically not given any reason. Some are telling, like some places it is telling, depends upon the drive letters available. That is also no guarantee, not required drive letters. Without drive letters also you can access the drive with the different ways. Not go to that one point. Okay. So here also you can do extend the volume. So you want to increase this 10 GB to 15 GB or 14 GB or 20 GB. You can take it from here. Still it is showing extended volume is available. It not show because it's already it is in this place. I don't know whether it works or not, but don't try it in your physical machines. Okay, see guys, this is E drive, H drive, 3 primary partition completed. This entire part is your extended partition, and I create a volumes, simple volumes, that is logical drives is created inside this extended volume. So this is your disk management part. And the next one is, what is a ZPT? So this is a ZPT type of partition, right? Convert into MBR means it is a ZPT. See, this is a showing in a blue color means it's a primary partition. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These are all. See, it is not showing extended, not showing extended. It is not showing extended. Shrink showing. Okay, so these are all my primary partition. More than 3 primary partition. No extended, no logicals are created. Main drives are C drive, E drive, D drive. C drive contains operating system. F drive and D drive contains some data. What about other drives? Other drives are not having drive letters only, but those are also drives. And this is container recovery partition, OEM partition, UEFI system protection, okay, recovery partition, health recovery partitions are there. So these partitions support my operating system. Whenever there is some issue, it tries to repair itself. Windows 10, one of the advantages is if anything small problem is occur, like a BSOD kind of stuff, certain kind of bootable related files problem related, it will repair itself. That's why it is creating this recovery and repairing partitions. Yeah. As I mentioned earlier, creating a new simple volumes, shrink already I told, extend and delete volume. So final one is how to delete a volume. Just you know that one, how to delete volume and deleting Z drive. Guys, we can store the data inside. I didn't show you that one. See, this is the drive letter. This one's 20 GB. One I already deleted, so we can store the data. But if you delete it, data will be gone. So I deleted another logical drive, but still it is a extended volume, 60 GB free space. I'm deleting that one also, delete partition. Now it is unallocated. If you want to add this 60 GB to this one, what to do? Simply extend volume. I'm completely adding that 60 GB to H drive. Now I got my H drive back. So it's a pure and clear blue color, no red colors. And, so this is about your disk management. Okay, guys, satisfied?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
If
sir.
you are not satisfied, then we'll see. So very big class I have taken, that too mainly today completely I have concentrated on storage devices. My plan is different, but you have a chance to read this PPT. Of course, I shared already. So start reading this one. Even you don't get it, no problem. Just read it what it is. Otherwise, leave it now. Now we will explain. Okay. So tomorrow we'll start another new topic because we don't have already. It is already crossed 1 o'clock. Okay. So this is your storage, and of course, when we are going to Windows administration, then I will show you what is BitLocker and other features also. This is about your hard disk, guys. Today we have seen about different disk drives. Usually I don't explain other things like what is CD, what is DVD, what is floppy disk, tape drives and all. Only one word maximum. But I explained this thing. Then I went to hard disk. What is the use of hard disk? First of all, that is we should know it. Use of hard disk is to store operating system and applications and data in an internal hard disk. So usually for operating system, applications, and our profile data related kind of stuff. Okay. And we have a hard disk, SATA type. We are currently using SATA hard disk. Guys, remember, we are using SATA type of hard disk we are using. And nowadays we are getting SSDs. In SSD also, two type. One is SATA SSDs, another one is NVMe M.2 type of SSDs are there. You can store data externally in a USB drives and a USB external hard disk also there. And of course, there is another type of storage, like your memory card type of storage is there. That is eMMC. It is a kind of memory card, SD card type. It is a kind of memory card type. You can store data in it. So like we use for a mini laptops. So why this is become like this? Laptops. You can try laptops. There you will find it. Okay. Next. Knowing about a different hard disk, the connection, SATA, PATA, difference between SATA and PATA, advanced technology attachment, parallel advanced technology attachment, serial advanced technology attachment. SATA is a faster than PATA is important. Okay. So how hard disk internal parts are there? What is their logical boards? What is their connections? SATA, PATA connecting differences. Size of the hard disk, 3.5, 2.5 type of hard disk are there. 2.5 usually for laptops and 3.5 for a internal hard disk of desktops. It is not maybe an other part, but it is very useful information. Okay. So when you are having the next one is your SSDs. Yes, SSDs are made more sophisticated thing. Even it is costly, but it is many used for a like a faster booting speed and faster loading of operating system and application thing. and not used for storing regular data. Why? Because of SSD is generally very costly, lower weight, lower power consumptions, and easy to transport. Okay, faster, lightweight. Part different is there now, already I said. One is a SATA interface SSD, another one is type is NVMe.M.2 type of SSD. Both are NAND storage devices, but NVMe.M.2 mostly it is goes on your motherboard. The SATA type of hard disk we can connect like a SATA hard disk with a SATA interface connector. So, and whenever you insert a hard disk, whenever you insert a disk, automatically you have to initialize as MBR or GPT, or when you are installing an operating system in a fresh system, means with a fresh hard disk, depends upon your operating system and your BIOS. So it will be initialized as MBR or a GPT. If it is initialized as MBR, master boot record, we can create four primary partitions. Generally, it is not agreeing in nowadays. So it is the new operating systems will create like this. 3 primary partitions created, automatically fourth one become entirely extended. The entire remaining part of disk is extended partition. 3 primary completed, then the remaining part become automatically extended when you are creating another partition. So the fourth partition automatically a logical partition in the extended partition. So 3 primary, 1 extended. In extended number of logical drives we can able to create it, and each partition support maximum size is 2 terabyte. GUID partition table, GPT GUID partition table, 128 partitions we can create it, no extended, no logical thing. So it support up to 2 terabyte and more than 2 terabyte of thing is like 18 EB it will support. When you insert a new hard disk, also it will ask for a initialize disk. So create a partition as per your requirements. Mainly why we create a partitions means it's a single physical hard disk. We divide a hard disk into logically. So why we need to divide like this? So dividing a single hard disk into in a logical we are dividing it, that is called a partition. Why we need a partitions? To store the data in separate places. Like OS and applications generally in the C drive and the Windows system, in regular other data we can able to store in other drives. Okay. Next, primary partition and extended partition we have seen. When you create a partition, compulsory you have to tell what operating system, what type of file system you want to use it. FAT or a NTFS. In Windows we have a popular with a FAT and NTFS. Generally nowadays NTFS is by default partition. NTFS is a default one. What I'm saying? Yeah, NTFS is the default file system when you're creating a partition kind of stuff. Okay, so NTFS can store big files, big partition size, we can able to get it. FAT is another hand, FAT32, so support a maximum of 32 GB of partition size. Okay, we cannot store big files inside. What is this file? What are the file system? It is file system will tell you how to store the data in the drive. Okay, so file system will tell how to store the data in the drive. So while it is different file system having different file system features, like NTFS having a certain features like a security, means you can allow or deny user to access your data in the NTFS files. Accessing read and write access, you can security. Security means allow or deny read and write access. You can encrypt the data, you can compress the data, so then we can save the disk space. You can create a disk quota, so then only a user completely cannot use entire hard disk. You can get only certain part of hard disk partition. There is indexing, so you can use it to search data in the NTFS partitions. Of course, there is another file systems are there like a exFAT, mostly used for SD cards. REFS, where we require a more no, you are not don't want to let your data to corrupted, then we can store in REFS, but you don't get a feature like NTFS. Different operating system may use different file system, like a Linux and Unix use ext, 3xt, 4 kind of stuff. You share a file system files, then we use a file system called a NFS, network file system, common internet file system, device wise file system like a DVD use UDF file system. Yeah, we can to manage the disk management, so we can use a command to run as a command prompt with the disk management, DISKPART command. Another one is you can open Diskmgmt.msc. There you can create a partition like a simple volume, shrinking volume, extending volume, deleting volume is also there. That's about your today class. Okay, guys.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir.